show you right now the products that I'm going to use on her. Mainly, it's going to be with the Tamana palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, my little baby. And if you haven't gotten your hands on one yet, you still do kind of have a chance to get it. It's mainly sold out in most stores. It's very hard to get your hands on it, but on the AnastasiaBeverlyHills.com website, they still have a few left where you can get all my favorite shades in one palette. So this is handpicked by me. I've chosen and helped formulate every single color in this palette based on what I want and based on what my clients need and, you know, my people's. And so this is probably the ultimate palette that I could ever get my hands on, and I'm just so glad that most of you out there have it and can use it with this tutorial. So I'm going to use this today, and then I'm going to add my secret little ingredients to make this really pop, and I'm going to just let you know what that is as we get to it. So first things first, we need to prime the eyes. What I'm going to use is the concealer brush that I love from MAC, which is number 2. I think it's number 287. It's this duo brush. It's a small dual fiber brush. And I use this for concealer. And we're going to use MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. There we go. Oh. So Soft Ochre Paint Pot is the eyeshadow primer that I use. I do not use any other primer or base. I don't like clear bases. I like a base that has color to it because for me, it's like creating a blank canvas. And it's very important for me to be able to see the eyeshadow over it. So I don't want a clear base and then the eyeshadow won't pop as much. This is what I like. And as far as the color, I know a lot of you probably have Painterly at home. MAC tries to sell Painterly to everyone, not realizing that it looks so gray on my skin color, people. So we need to use soft ochre, and I've actually used soft ochre on all of my Caucasian brides as well, and it was perfect. So the difference is how to tell if you're a Painterly girl or a soft ochre girl is, oh my god, I'm sorry, that's my phone. Anyway, how to tell what color you're going to be is basically if you have really, really cool tones in your skin and you're very, very fair, like super fair, then I would go with Painterly, which is more of a pinkish gray undertone of the paint pot. If you have any warmth in your skin at all, if you're fair to medium to tan, so all the way from fair to tan, and if you have any warmth in your skin, any yellow in your skin, or you tend to tan a little easier without burning, basically that's how you can tell if you're warm or cool sometimes, then you would go with soft ochre. And I would say, and I don't even own Painterly, I can use soft ochre on anyone. And if I feel like soft ochre is too dark for someone, then I have the LA Girl Cosmetics Pro Conceals in some lighter colors, and I also have the MAC Pro Longwear in some lighter colors for the concealer, and the concealer works very similar to this. So that's what I use. And then for deeper tones, like African American skin tones, I have another color called Groundwork, which is a little bit darker. It's just a couple shades darker than this. And basically it is, it's right over here. Groundwork. I'm like totally failing. Okay, so Groundwork, and it is basically just a few shades darker than like a tan color. So it's mainly meant for my African American skin tone clients or really, really, really deep tan clients as well. So soft ochre, Groundwork, these are the two that I go in between. But if you ever do, or if you have very, very cool skin tone, then go with Painterly. I'm going to use soft ochre on my client today. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking a small amount with my brush, and I dab it on my hand to make sure that there's no chunks. And then I'm going to go ahead and start pasting it onto her whole eyelid area, all the way up to the brow zone, all the way down to the eyelash base. Okay, I'm going to have you face this with that. Perfect. So I'm just kind of giving a healthy amount all over, enough to actually look like concealer. And I'm using the whole flat side of this brush to make sure that it's spreading very evenly and that I'm not poking with bristles on her eyeball. I want it to be comfortable for her, so I'm doing it like this. in a flat motion. Try not to poke their eyeball like this. I'm not jabbing. Just be very soft and gentle with your clients. Okay, so that's how I apply the eyeshadow base. We're going to do the same on the other side. Nice and flat brush. The only time I ever use the edges of my brush is when I'm going around the brow section so that I can get a nice clean brow area. And remember, go flat, go smooth, make sure it's not chunky, make sure it's even throughout. And I'm making sure that every single square centimeter of her exposed skin is now covered. Another thing you could do if you want to, go ahead and open your eyes and look at the ceiling. You could also add a little bit down here. Because it's a Smokey Eye tutorial, I want to make sure that the smokiness that I'm about to add underneath her eyes is actually going to stick on without bleeding around. So I may add a little bit of eyeshadow base with this brush underneath. So now that we are prepped, I'm going to go ahead and establish the brightness under her brow area. I'm going to do the light color first. And I like to just kind of get that out of the way and be done with it so I don't have to deal with it later. And real quick, I just want to share my holy grail brush cleaner. Cinema Secrets Professional Brush Cleaner is my absolute favorite. I buy the huge bottle, the gallon, and I fill this one up for travel, and I also fill up like a random spray bottle. This is just a random spray bottle, and I fill it up so that I can actually just spray my brush, and it disinfects and cleans the makeup off like in an instant. And then it actually dries really fast, so I can use it directly on my client right away. It's not wet. Well, the product is obviously wet, but it dries really fast, so the brush isn't wet. So I'm going to go into the Tamana palette. And my preference is to use matte under her brow bone, because sometimes if you start too shiny and everything ends up kind of shimmery, it ends up looking like a disco ball, and it can end up looking kind of cheap. So starting with matte shades and then adding shimmer if you really need to is usually the way I do this. So what I'm doing is I'm just placing the brush nice and flat and stamping it right on the brow bone zone. And I'm making sure I'm grabbing a lot of product, and I'm just stamping it along. And when I'm stamping, I do a little bit of a sliding motion as well. So basically what's happening is that it's getting a good grip. So it's a little bit of like this kind of motion rather than just tapping it on and then stuff falls out all over the place. So when you're tapping it on and then slightly sliding it, that's what's going to get it to stick and last all day. So that's what I'm doing here. All the way. I always start with the arch, I finish the tail, and then I continue with the rest of it because I want the punch to be at the arch. That's where I want most of my product to go. So you have to remember, when you're playing with brushes, the place that your brush first touches the eye is going to be the place that most of your product is going to be stuck to. So when we're starting to do other colors like darks, we're going to start on the outer edge or the middle instead of starting on the inner edge, unless you want the inner part of the eye to be super dark. So just remember, the place that you first touch the brush onto the skin is the place where that's going to have the most amount of product. So you don't want it to be in a place where you don't want so much product. So I want a lot of my product right here to create a very bold arch, and that's why I started there. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Starting on the arch and then finishing up everywhere else. I might do one more layer. Okay, so now that the brow zone is complete, I can now concentrate on all those other areas that I want to create that sultry effect. So this is going to be the part that may blow your mind a little bit. It may concern you because it's going to look a little crazy, but I'm going to show you what exactly I'm doing. So the product that I'm going to use now is actually a MAC product. It is Fluid Line, and the color is called Dip Down. I don't know if you'll be able to read this because it's like so small, but it's called Dip Down from Fluid Line, and it is a dark brown eyeliner gel. So just grab any dark brown that you have, and basically what I do is I use this to be the base of where I want my smokiness to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of trace around the edges of her eyes, and I'm going to darken up that outer corner and darken up the inner corner with this product so that it gives me my guideline, and then I can add shadows to it, and it's going to be darker, bolder, more camera friendly, because with just eyeshadows without a dark base, your camera flash will go right through it and it's not going to look like a smoky eye anymore. So this is what makes my smoky eyes show in any camera, in any picture. That's why those pictures that I posted recently are so bold, because this was underneath my smoky eye. So again, this is MAC Fluid Line in Dip Down. That's the dark brown color. The brush that I'm going to use, you can actually use any small brush, but I prefer the 217 brush from MAC. This one's such an old one. Yours might be a little fluffier, but basically this is a 217 from MAC, and I'm going to use this very lightly and apply a little bit of this dark brown to it. And I'm also going to use my hand as a palette so that I'm not putting too much on directly on her eye. And we're going to go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see this step. Go ahead and open your eyes. I'm going to have my model basically look right into the camera so you can see how it looks while the eyes are open. This is something that I do because with me, I have hooded eyes, and I need to be able to see how it looks on when I'm opening my eyes. I need it to look like I have a nice big eyelid. I don't want it to go too high, and I don't want it to disappear when I open my eyes. So what I do is, for clients and for myself, I do this step while the eyes are open so I know exactly what it's going to look like. So while her eyes are open, I'm going to go ahead and very lightly sketch around the socket line. So I've sketched a little bit of a roundness around her socket line there, and I'm going to do the same over here. So the socket line is basically where the fold happens, because let's say, go ahead and close your eyes. If she closes her eyes, there's no fold. I can't see where that fold is. I can feel where her crease is, but what happens is when the eyes are open and closed, the skin stretches or retracts. And so basically you have a totally different look when the eyes are closed versus when the eyes are open. So when the eyes are open, it kind of guarantees that my look is going to be right on point where it's supposed to be. And then I can always adjust it when the eyes are closed. So now that I've done this guideline, and I did it with the 217 brush very lightly, I didn't press hard on the brush. I just kind of circled back and forth very lightly, not too much product, because I wiped a lot of the product off of my hand. That way I'm not getting messy on her. Now I can refine this by having her close her eyes, and I'm going to finish my little sections. So what I'm going to do now is grab a little bit more product and go ahead and close your eyes. And now I'm going to fill in the outer third of her eye and the inner third of her eye. Like that, and I'm going to do a connection right in that crease that I created for her. So just like that. I'm going to do the same on the other side. We're going to connect that V right into her outer eyelash, fill in that outer third, and we're going to fill in that inner third. Basically, we just want to make sure that it's dark everywhere except for the center of her lid. I told you it was going to look crazy and weird until it looks better. So I'm just going to darken all this up. Just the center should be nice and bright. And go ahead and open your eyes so that everyone can see how it should look. This is how crazy it's going to look right now. And then what we're going to do is with a different brush, we are going to go ahead and add, with the pencil brush here, we're going to go into the dark brown. And we're going to add, go ahead and look up to the ceiling. I'm going to add some fluffiness of dark brown right under her lash line. Just to give her that initial smoky effect on the top and the bottom. go ahead and, you know, make it as thick as you and your client want it. There's no real rule to that. My preference is to make the under eyes pretty thick, but sometimes clients are a little afraid of that. It reminds them of dark circles, so you want to always run it by them and see if it's okay with them if you go ahead and go pretty thick with your smokiness. I always ask. But yes, my preference is to go pretty thick. So that's the base part. Now we're done with that. And again, we use the Fluid Line Dip Down as her base. And we're going to go ahead and set everything now with eyeshadow. So now we're going to whip out the chocolate color eyeshadow from my palette, which is going to be this one, chocolate. And we're going to use that to set all the dark brown zones that we've already created on her. So I'm going to go back to the 217 brush that I've already used. I'm just giving it a little bit of a wipe down here so that it's not wet. And I'm going to take some of this chocolate. I'm going to tap it off so that it doesn't get dust everywhere. Always make sure you're tapping your brush off so that all that major dust falls off so it doesn't fall on your client's face. And now go ahead and close your eyes. I'm going to go ahead and just very carefully set all those zones that I've darkened. And because this is technically a blending brush, I'm also going to blend a little bit into the crease area so that that darkness has a fade going up. So I'm kind of just digging in back and forth so that that darkness fades upward. Also, huge tip, do not rest your hand on your client's face like this and then do this, because it's going to be very hard for you to blend fluidly. If you want an easier blend, you're going to go straight in, and you can do the windshield wiper movement, you could do little circles, whatever you want to do, however you get that blend, but do not go from a lower angle like this, because you're only going to be pushing your line higher and higher, and it's going to keep creating lines. And if you go straight in or let the bristles kind of point downward a little bit, then you're going to get a smoother blend going up. So never ever blend this way. Always go straight in or a little higher, and your blend is going to be so much easier once your hand gets used to that motion. I know it's very hard when you already have another habit to break it, but my goodness, it's going to change your makeup game. Your blending game is going to be so nice. So here's the thing though, guys. I'm not big on blending. I don't spend a lot of time blending. I like more of a layering method. So what I'm doing right now is I'm pretty much just layering this dark in there, and the only part I'm blending is the crease. And I'm not really spending a whole lot of time on that. I really just want to push product up. And another thing is you can just, you could even just slide it up like this. That's another way to blend it upward if you don't want to waste time blending too much. What you're going to notice about me throughout my courses is, again, I'm not much of a blender. I'm more of a layering kind of a girl. So what I do is I layer colors to make it look like it's blended, but I'm not really doing a whole lot of actual blending. I don't like to waste too much time. I just want to like get product on and make it look as smooth as possible. So I'm still adding that chocolate color all over those dark areas, just like that. If you feel like you want to extend the eye, let's say if someone's eyes are more round and you want to make them more almond shape, then you can absolutely extend the shape outward like this into a little bit of a point, and that will create more of that almond shaped eye. Now we have to set the bottom as well, so I'm going to go in with chocolate with my pencil brush. This is the Sigma pencil brush number E30. And go ahead and look up again. And very softly, I'm just going to set all this under eye area with that same dark brown called Chocolate from the Tamana palette. Just like that. Good. So now that that's done, we're going to work on smoothing out that crease with a lighter brown so that it looks like it's blending higher. So instead of me sitting here for 20 minutes trying to blend this color higher and higher, what I'm going to do to make this dark blend into that light color is to add a medium color. Kind of like in my contour class, how I added a medium in between the zones to make it look smooth. like a smooth transition. We're going to do the same thing using a color called Bengal from the same palette, the Tamana palette. And that's the color right here. It's like a caramel kind of a shade. And we're going to use this, and I'm going to add a hint of chocolate in it to create a slightly darker version of Bengal, to place that right in between her crease and her brow color. So the cool thing about this palette is that these two colors are so different, yet you can mix them to create your own level of dark versus light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Bengal, and I'm going to add a little bit of chocolate to it, just a tad. Make sure you tap off your brush. And we're going to use this new soft color that we've just created right in that upper crease. And what that's doing is it's allowing that color to kind of fade higher and higher, so it doesn't look so harsh at one spot. So Bengal with a hint of chocolate will be placed right in between that crease and the brow zone. So basically that's the upper crease. And I love to use my hands to soften it up further, my fingertips. I feel like there's no greater tool than your own hands. So I'm just flicking it outward to make sure she has that lovely cat eye appearance, and it is making her eyes elongated and angled. So we have now a very smoky kind of a base. And now we're going to go ahead and add a color right to her lid, which is going to make the center of the smoky eye pop. The color that I'm going to use now, there's so many colors you can use in the center. There's so many ways that you can make a smoky eye. It's like unbelievable. So this palette, the Tamana palette, is meant for like the ultimate smoky eye, where you could pretty much use any color as that center color. You could use Sangria, which is like a really cool cranberry kind of a shade. You can use Venezia with it, which is like a nice kind of aqua bluish teal. Then there's Gilded, which is a gold, and Custom, which is like a silvery taupey color, and then China Rose, which is like a pinky gold, like almost like a salmon mixed with a gold. So all of these colors can be used as that center shade. So what I'm going to do is I'll use Gilded, which is like the most common look for a neutral smoky eye with no major color in it. And if we want to add a little color, I might add a hint of China Rose, but let me see how it looks on her, and we'll figure out if we want to add that or not. So I'm going to start off with Gilded, and the brush that I'm going to use is basically the same brush that I used for her underbrow color, which is this flat shader brush from MAC. I forgot what number it was, but on the website it's just called shader brush on the MACcosmetics.com website. So I'm going to dip right into Gilded. I'm going to scoop up a nice amount, and I'm going to go right in after tapping the brush off. I'm going to go right into her center, and close your eyes. I'm going to hold up her skin while her eyes are closed so that I have a nice tight skin, and I'm going to place it and slide it down. Do you see what that just did? The sliding creates a liquidy effect. So instead of me just tapping on this lovely gold, I'm going to sit it on that naked part of her eye, and I'm going to slide it down in a few motions all the way down to her lash line, and that makes it look more liquidy. Because what you're basically doing is you're creating a nice smooth pigmentation out of this eyeshadow to make it look as if you're pasting a cream color on. But it's not cream, it's just a very, very silky type of shadow. Instead of me going like this, trying to fill up her eye, which breaks the creamy texture, I'm actually sliding it, which makes it more of a reflective quality. It brings out the reflection of that quality. So basically, with any shimmer eyeshadow you have at home, you can do the same effect by pushing down and just sliding down the center of the eye with that. And then what I do is I wipe off the brush on my hand, and then I just kind of overlap slightly the edges so that you can't really tell where it starts or ends. So that is how I do my 3D smoky eye. Again, I'm grabbing Gilded from my palette, and I'm holding up the skin a little bit so that it doesn't fold while I just press and slide. Press and slide, press and slide. And now we're just going to wipe off and overlap the edges so that you can't tell where it starts or finishes. And now she has a very wet looking smoky eye. It's very kind of shiny and it's attracting light. But because it's so smoky on the edges, you have this amazing 3D effect. All right. So once that step is done, we are now going to darken up the eyes with some eyeliner, and then I'm going to add some black eyeshadow over the liner to create more of that smokiness. And that's where this look ends up really changing completely. So going into the eyeliner, I'm going to use the Inglot number 77 gel liner. There we go. And I'm going to use my liner brush number 263 from MAC to line the eyes. I'm going to line the waterline, and I'm also going to line the top. If you guys would like, I can do a separate class just on eyeliners. So I'm going to pick up a small amount of the Inglot gel liner. If you guys have the MAC Black Track at home, my advice is to get this one instead, the Inglot one, because the MAC Black Track is just so gray and charcoal looking. It's not like a true black at all, and it's harder to get a perfect black. So this one, what I'm going to do right now is I'm sharpening my liner brush like a knife, and I'm picking up product that way on both sides of the brush, making sure that it's a nice kind of a blade effect, if you can see how sharp this blade is. And go ahead and look up to the ceiling. I'm now going to fill in her whole waterline with this lovely black gel liner, making sure it's super dark. And then same on the other side. Okay, so we have the waterline done. Now I'm going to grab more product, re-wet my brush because this product does dry pretty fast. And while her eyes are open, go ahead and look right into the camera. I'm going to create a wing. It's going to go outward, not so high. So basically, when I'm creating a wing, I like to have the eyes open again, because that way I know that my angles are about the same. I can step back and look at both lines and see that they are leveled at the same angle, instead of when the eyes are, go ahead and close your eyes. If the eyes are closed, it's very hard to tell the placement of your wing. So again, open your eyes. Now you can see that the placement is fine, and then if I need to go in and refine it, I can always have her close her eyes and I can fix the line myself now that I know where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to grab just a little bit more product because it's already dry. That's the only drawback of this product, is it dries really fast, but I seriously don't even care. That's such a small drawback for me. I'd rather have full black coverage than anything. So I'm going to get product here and close your eyes. And I'm going to have you tilt a little bit this way so you can see the liner. So the wing is on. Now I'm just going to lift her skin and get really deep into her lashes. If I don't lift the lid, I won't be able to get so deep into the lash line. So I'm lifting the lid so I can get real in there in the root of the lashes so that there's no gap. When she opens her eyes, there won't be a gap in the roots. The whole thing is going to be nice and dark. And now I just have to connect the wing into the liner. So I'm going to go in almost to the tip of that wing and just make a straight line and fill in the empty space. So I'm just making a straight line into the rest of her eyeliner so that it's all connected and looking very, very sharp. When you make your connection line, make sure that you're not going over the wing too much. The tip of the wing should remain sharp, and the way that you can make it remain sharp is to not go over it too much. Otherwise, you're just going to make it thicker and thicker and thicker. So what I mean is, go ahead and lift the lid and get right in there with the regular lining process. I'm going to make sure that the bases of the lash are nice and dark and that there's no gaps. Get right in there. Okay, and then now I'm going to grab a little bit more product. I always have to make sure my brush is wet, otherwise it gets hard and gummy. So you have to just kind of keep picking up more product so you can work with a nice smooth brush. Now with the connection part again, go ahead and close your eyes. Instead of going all the way to the tip of the wing, I'm going almost to the tip of the wing. That way my tip stays nice and sharp. And I'm not compromising the thickness of that wing. So basically, we're just going to connect this into the liner and go straight in. And then any weirdness or gaps, you're going to fix those gaps. But that very, very tip of the wing, I'm not touching. I'm going to go ahead and extend this wing a little bit more just to match. Okay. So whatever little adjustments you need to make, you can usually tell as soon as they open their eyes where you need to make those adjustments. So go ahead and do so accordingly. Go ahead and close your eyes. I'm just going to go a little thicker in the center here. Okay, so now that the liner is on, it's time to set the liner with eyeshadow. So I'm going to go in with like the blackest black in the market, which is the black that we created in the Tamana palette. It is called Noir. This one, it's like blacker than black. We're going to use that to set her waterline and to also smoke up the outer corner of her wing. So we're going to go in with that smudger brush, number 231 from MAC, this one here, the smudger brush. And we're going to use this to set her waterline. So I'm just going to take a very small amount of the black eyeshadow and I'm going to have her look up to the ceiling. And very carefully, I'm going to go ahead and press it, not too hard, you want to be very gentle, but I'm pressing it onto her waterline. And every couple of stamps that I'm doing, I'm going to go back into my product and grab more product. Because I want to make sure that I have enough product from the beginning to the end of my line. So if I just grab one bit of product and I stamp all the way across her waterline with that, I'm going to run out of product by the time I get to the inner corner of her eye or the outer corner of her eye. So every couple of stamps, I'm grabbing more product and setting it and working my way in. Or you can start on the inside and work your way out. Totally up to you, however your hand is comfortable doing it. So again, I'm going to start over here. I'm going to carefully set. I'm going to grab more black, go back in, set again, grab more black, go back in, and finish it off. So now the whole waterline has been set. This is not a very comfortable feeling for your client, so you have to make sure that you're not only gentle, but you're quick enough to get through it so that she can just be done with the step. You don't want to prolong it too much and then have her be crying. That's not fun. Although this step just makes it even more waterproof than it already is, so if she started crying, it would be okay. No big deal. So if you guys experience any fallout, you can totally just use any big fluffy brush and just wipe it away. As you guys know from my contour class, I use a lot of powder around the eye area and the face, so any kind of fallout just dusts right off. But also the way the technique is with that pressing and the sliding technique that I showed you, you get very minimal fallout. It's going to be very rare that you'll get fallout once you've mastered that technique. So keep practicing and make sure you're viewing this video as much as you can before it expires so that you can get that technique down. If you're having trouble with fallout, I love, love, love Shadow Shield. I have a box of them that I use, and you know, in case I'm using a product that's just really dusty, I just place this right under the eye, just like this. I have her look up to the ceiling, and then I can go in and do my thing. And it's a sticker, actually, so you can stick it on them, or you can just hold it up. I usually just hold it up because I don't want to ruin her makeup. And I always do face makeup before I do eye makeup because I'm into the balanced kind of a look. Like, I'm very visual, so I need to make sure my face is on before I do all the detail work with the eyes. That's my personal preference. So in that case, I don't want to use the sticker of this. I just want to hold it up and then do my thing and then remove it. So that's called Shadow Shields. They're on Instagram as well, just spelled the same way, Shadow Shields. And you can find them in drugstores. They're really easy to find. So once the bottom has been set, I'm going to go in with a small tapered eyeshadow brush like this. This is like my little baby. I love this brush so much. It's from Hakuhodo. And so that's the brand name. And there's unfortunately no number on this brush. It just says Hakuhodo. So if you go on their website, just search Hakuhodo. It's a Japanese brush line. And look for their small tapered eyeshadow brush. And I'm sure they have different ones with different qualities. But all Hakuhodo brushes are good, so you can't really go wrong. Even if you get the cheaper version, you can't really go wrong. So I'm going to dip right into the black eyeshadow just with the tip of the brush. Give it a good whack so that you're not getting so much dust everywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right in here while her eyes are kind of open. What we're doing is, there's a little something on your chin. Oh. So while the eyes are open, I'm going to go ahead and find the corner, which is the corner where her eyelid crease and eyeliner wing meet. So right in here, go ahead and kind of open your eyes a little bit. Yeah. So right where her crease and her eyelid and her wing meet, that's where I'm going to apply this black eyeshadow. See how black that is? That's pretty intense. So I'm going to apply that right in here. Now, if you guys want to do just a very soft, more natural smoky eye, then you can skip the black step. So this is what's going to create that real depth for a more dramatic 3D effect. So it increases the contrast of the look by adding black. A true black, not carbon. And we're just placing that right where that piece meets. And then now that almost nothing is left on the brush, I can now kind of go in and smooth out the connection between the black and the chocolate and the Bengal. I'm smoothing that out by kind of going over and sliding my brush right over that section so that it looks like the black is truly fading into the brown section. So now we have a very beautiful cat eye effect that is a blacker, more bolder effect than if you were to use the brown by itself. I'm a fan of brown by itself. I have used brown on mine, all the time. So again, this is an option. If you really want it to be dark, then you can stick with this side. Go ahead and turn a little bit. Yeah, look down. And then if you want to keep it more natural, less contrast, then stick with the brown side. But I'm going to show you the more dramatic way, of course, because it's me. And right here where the fold meets the wing of the eyeliner, that's where we're going to apply this black eyeshadow just on that outer corner. And I'm not making a huge V or anything, very small, small V. And then now with whatever's left on the tip of the brush, I can kind of roll over the edge of where the brown was so that it just kind of fades into the rest of the look. Go ahead and close your eyes again. See how that fades so beautifully? There's no crazy line of demarcation because what we did was we added that black line, filled in that outer little area, and then rolled it kind of to touch on the brown spots. So now it looks more fluid. Go ahead and look straight into the camera and look down. So now she has this gorgeous kind of a 3D look. And now while she's looking down, I'm just going to go ahead and start sculpting the edges of her eyes and darkening up the rest of the dark zones. And again, this is optional. This is just if I really want to increase that contrast. Or you could totally just leave that outer part dark and leave the inner part lighter. There's no rules. As long as it looks good, there's no crazy rules. Right now I'm just kind of bringing that dark all the way into the inner corner. So now we've created this 3D super smoky eye. Another thing that I want to do underneath her eyes is to just add to that smokiness without making it so black by adding the chocolate color with the tip of this brush. And go ahead and look up to the ceiling. I'm going to add chocolate right underneath the black. We had added chocolate in the beginning in the step where we were setting her fluid line, but now I'm adding more chocolate just to increase that blendability right across. So now we have this awesome, very clean effect without it looking too sharp. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I do with the mascara now, and then I'm going to show you my secret little ingredient for the center of the eyelid, which is really going to make it pop, and that's what I've been like kind of waiting for this whole time. So I've already curled her lashes. Basically, to curl lashes, all you do is you tell your client to look at the floor. Go ahead and look at the floor. She hates this part. Try to keep them open and look at the floor, and then I go in. And before I press all the way, I ask if this is okay. And then if she says yes, I can squeeze the concoction and let her breathe again. Because I don't know why, but all my clients like hold their breath during this moment.
Like scary.
You don't want to risk it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I curl the lashes. And then for the mascara, I use mascara straight. I know that some of you noticed from my Halloween video that I use mascara without the mascara wand, the disposable ones. I hate the disposable ones. Like literally, I'm going to look at you when I say this. I hate disposable mascara wands.
Yeah.
They are so generic and they are so like hard to use. And the thing is, if you're going to spend money on a designer mascara, like all my mascaras are Lancome mascaras. I do not use generic mascaras. Although some generic mascaras are nice, like L'Oreal and stuff like that. Like those are nice. But I have been spoiled with Lancome forever since I've been using makeup. So I will not downgrade, nor will I downgrade the integrity of this beautiful brush. So this is Lancome's Hypnose Drama Mascara. It has a lovely slight curvature in the brush. As you can see, it's like a very slight S-wave. And it's thicker on one side and skinnier on the other side. And this allows me to literally design her eyelashes from scratch and build them to the amount that I want them. And I cannot do that with a different brush. The whole point of a mascara is 50% of it is the actual formulation of the mascara, but 50% is also the actual brush, the application of the mascara. So I use it straight. If I have a client that has severe allergies or any type of issues towards this kind of a method, I have her bring her own mascara. And we usually have trials before you do a bride. You can talk to them. Now that I'm so booked, I usually don't do a trial. I don't have availability for that. So what we do is we do a consultation over the phone where I talk to my bride. I get to know them, know their allergies, know their issues. If they have any type of sensitivity to product, I go ahead and tell them, go ahead and bring your own mascara, but make sure it is a waterproof mascara and it's very thick and buildable, such as the Hypnose Waterproof Drama. This is my favorite formula of all time. So I'm going to go ahead and use this on her. And of course, I mean, as far as like someone with pink eye, you can see that they have pink eye. And you're actually supposed to refuse service. You're not supposed to work on anyone with pink eye. It is so contagious. So no, I will not be putting my products on someone with pink eye. And it's pretty obvious if someone has pink eye.
Yeah.
So there's no issue with that. Although if you do want to, just stay safe, then go ahead and contact your client ahead of time and let them know to bring their own mascara. Or you can just continue using the wands. If the wands have been working for you thus far, then who am I to tell you to stop? But this is just my preference. I like a designer mascara with a designer mascara wand. And go ahead and look up to the ceiling. Carefully, I'm going to get the bottoms done. Oh my god, your lashes are so long. I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I love your bottom lash. I don't have good bottom lashes at all. These are nice. I can definitely work with these.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm not pressing hard and I'm not pulling her skin too much. I'm just allowing her to look up so that the lashes kind of poke out. And then I can just go in. And now if you have clumps, all I do is touch my finger on the clump and it picks it right up and I just swipe it off. And we're just gonna make sure we get enough product on here. A little hair fell. And up again. We're gonna build until we're happy. I just keep building like forever, but you can build until you're happy. I like to make sure there is enough mascara all the way from the root of the lashes to the tip of the lashes. I don't want any part of the lash to be uncoated. Go ahead and look down now. I'm gonna do the bottom. The bottom of the top. So I'm working on the top lashes here and I have her look down because I want to be able to pull her lid up to make her lashes stand up so she can't really blink. And now I can dig in and start coating her lash hairs with this amazing mascara. If your client needs to blink, let go and let her blink. Then you can always go back and add more coats. It's not a big deal. Don't try to act like you're on a mission and just try to finish up before she can blink because you don't want her to get watery and then there goes your whole appointment with her watery red eyes. You can't even get good pictures. So you have to be compassionate about your client's needs, and if she wants to blink, just back off and let her blink. Okay, there you go. So see how it's like building so beautifully? It's like spikes. I love that spiky look. And look down again. We're going to do the same thing. I'm lifting her lid up and I'm going to get right in there and flip up her lashes with this amazing mascara. She needs to blink. I'll give her a second to blink and then she can continue building, building, building until
Sorry.
No problem.
I'm a blinker.
You're a blinker. We're all human. Gotta blink.
Right? It's like the eyes are burning if you keep them up.
Oh my god, yeah. It's so uncomfortable keeping them open. Sometimes as artists we forget how it feels to be in the chair. So you have to constantly remember and remind yourself it is not easy opening your eyes for that long. So if you have a client and they're blinking, that's normal. It is normal. It is totally okay. You can work with it. Just deal with it. Whatever. No biggie. Okay. So that is with the lashes completed with that Lancome Hypnose Waterproof Mascara. Hypnose Drama Waterproof. And go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to get a little closer. Is there a way we can zoom even more? Or is that the max?
Come closer maybe?
Oh yeah. So I want you to get a good look at her whole variation. This is the point, if you want to take any pictures to remember how this looks like, this is where you can take your photographs. Basically underneath we have a fade of black to brown. And then on top, go ahead and look down. Yeah, keep your eyes closed actually, that's fine. Yeah. We have the brown throughout. This is chocolate. And on both ends there's chocolate as well. And on the center we added gilded, which is basically going to keep that lid looking nice and wet. And then we overlapped it a little bit on the edges so that you can't really tell where chocolate and gilded meet. And then we added black, the noir, right in that outer corner, and we dragged it all the way in and connected it to that inner corner to create a nice rounded effect. And we also rolled it up into the brown section of her crease. The crease color was chocolate mixed with Bengal, which is like going to be a nice medium kind of a soft brown. So that's what we did over here. And then with the wing, we created the line, we connected it to her whole lash line, and then that black was basically where the fold of her eye connects to the wing. That's where we applied this black eyeshadow right on the outer corner. So basically she has this like perfect, beautiful smoky eye. Same on the other side, we have this great gradient effect. I'm sorry that the lighting isn't completely even, so it doesn't look exactly the same, but maybe if you turn a little bit this way. Yeah, so you can kind of see a little bit more of this gradient effect. Go ahead and close your eyes. You can see that gradient effect there with the shine here and all this lovely stuff. So go ahead and sit back. We're going to now whip out that famous thing that I've been talking about. We are going to whip out that secret ingredient. Right now I'm just going to touch her up a little bit. We're going to whip out my secret ingredient, which I just discovered, and it's been out for like a little while now, but I just discovered it. And I know some of you guys guessed some other items that I've talked about before and I've posted before on Instagram. Basically, it's not any of those items that you think it is. I think one person already guessed the correct thing. And someone has guessed that it's the Stila foils, which are these items. This is what I used to use on the center all the time, and I still have it in my kit. I love it. It's like a wet formula, and it's like a cream, and you could use it with your fingers and just apply it right on the center. And then there's also like ColourPop Cosmetics has amazing eyeshadows. That's also a good one. Another thing that I've used are these Urban Decay glitter liners, and I've applied it right to the center of the eye to add some sparkle. But today's secret ingredient is from Lorac Cosmetics, and it is the 3D. It is the 3D liquid luster. It's these beautiful little bottles right here. I have it in gold and I have it in silver. So I like both of them. I mean, I guess we could use silver today. They're all really, really amazing. And basically what this is a dropper. And wow. I think, yeah, it's just like, you have to mix it. And it's like liquid diamonds for your eyes or for your lips or wherever you want to apply this. Let me see if I have my silver one here so you can see both of them. I think it's here somewhere. It's amazing. It's so easy to use. I just use it with my fingers and I spread it around. Let me check over here actually. I just put it on myself, so now I'm like, oh, where is it? Okay, I guess we're going to use gold. This is, this color is actually called gold, and then the other one, I think it's called either silver or diamond. And it's basically like this liquid product that is so smooth and so sparkly, it's going to blow your mind. So, oh my god, yes, ah! There it is.
Did you find it?
My other color. I want to show you both. Thank you. I swear my team is the best. Like all they do is point and everything just shows up right there. So here's the silver one. This is called Diamond. There you go. And this is Diamond. And they're called the Lorac 3D Liquid Luster. This is my secret ingredient of the day. I absolutely love it. As soon as Carol, who's the founder of this company, as you notice, Lorac is spelt Carol backwards. How clever. So she showed me these the other day at dinner, and I'm like, oh my god, how does no one know about this? Like, how come I never see this online? This is going to be the holy grail for all of my brides for the upcoming year. So I want to show you how this looks. It's in a dropper, and I apply a small amount on whatever area you want to use it. I put it on my hand first. And then I pick it up with my fingertip, and you can literally just apply it over whatever, and it becomes this beautiful, like it looks like diamonds. It's so gorgeous. And the cool thing is it dries immediately, so it doesn't come off, and it doesn't spill all over the eyes and the face, and it doesn't look dirty. Like a lot of times when you're using glitter, sometimes glitters will fall. Yeah. This stays in place. It's so beautiful, and it just makes everything look even more wet and shiny than it already is. So I'm going to show you the gold one now too, just so you guys can get an idea of what this looks like. Ooh.
I'm going to try it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. So that's the gold one. So it's literally like so shiny, And that's what I used on my bride from the weekend. I had a destination bride in San Francisco. And that's what I used on the center of her lid in that post. So if you go back to the post, it's a bride wearing gold and she has smoky eyes. This is what I put on the center of her lid to make it look so eye-catching. In the photographs, it looks bomb. So we're going to go ahead and use it on our lovely model right now. I'm going to actually use the silver one, just so it doesn't look too gold, because we already have gold on her lid. And I'm just going to drop some of it. I've dropped on my hand, and I'm going to use my finger to go ahead and apply it on her lid. Close your eyes. And I'm literally just going to tap it on her lid, and it becomes this like super, super shiny, amazing, reflective look.
Can I go closer?
Yeah. And then go ahead and kind of, yeah, there you go.
Right here.
See how shiny that is already? And it was just a couple of dabs of this product. So I'm going to have you move a little this way. We're going to do the same thing to this side. I'm just going to dab it on her lid here. And it becomes this just gorgeous, sparkly, heavenly, glittery effect without using chunky glitter. Now, I am a fan of chunky glitter. I love that look. But if you're looking for something very quick and something for your clients who may not want a full crazy glitter effect, this is perfect, especially for the holidays. It just gives that right amount of bling and it's not overly done. I'm in love. So go ahead and get your pictures, guys. Get your screenshots. Go ahead and tilt your head down a little bit.
Right here.
And close your eyes. And now we can get this nice zoom in here. So basically we have the liner, we have that curvature here, we have a beautiful fade of dark to light here, and now our final coat is that beautiful, beautiful glittery effect that we've applied now right on the center using our fingers, 3D liquid luster from Lorac Cosmetics, and that just kind of sealed the deal. And the cool thing is it dries on contact. It doesn't come off. And so it's going to stay like this basically all night. She could sleep in it. Not that I would recommend to. You should never sleep with your makeup on. But she could sleep in it and she'll look just as good when she wakes up. That's how waterproof we've done this, because we use so many layers. And we made sure that every layer was set with enough powder. So every cream layer we did was set with a powder layer. And that's why it's so waterproof and so amazing. So that is my final smoky eye look. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and this lesson. It's actually not very hard, not very time consuming once you have all your products in front of you and everything is set. It ends up looking so sultry and sexy and not so black where it's dark all over, although I'm a fan of that too. But it's not a dark all over look. It's that 3D smoky eye where it's just dark on the corners and light in the center, so you're still attracting light on the face. And it's not overly done. She looks absolutely amazing. Like, you could just go to a holiday party right now. Just wear, like,
I know, I need
whatever.
to go somewhere.
You gotta go somewhere.
Let me call some guys.
All right. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this.